I got Coffee McGee with me. Should we get Taco Bell on the way back? No. We're heading to Walmart to buy the cheapest laptop that they have within reason. I'm not gonna buy a Chromebook, and I'm not gonna buy the most like horrible deal I can find. But on their website for 280 bucks, they have a Lenovo IdeaPad 3i that has a Ryzen 7520U inside. And we looked at something similar like over a year ago. It was like a Lenovo IdeaPad 1. So I'm hoping this is a good amount better, and it's really cheap, and it has good storage and decent RAM. So let's go ahead and get to Walmart. But first, we gotta pay some bills. So here's today's sponsor. The new year is here, and that means it's time for New Year's resolutions. And that means Matt and I are ready to get in the routine of building a healthier habit.
And that's why we are drinking today's video sponsor, Huel. And for the month of January, they have a high protein starter bundle that comes with 1 Black Edition pouch and 5 ready to drink Black Edition bottles and a shaker.
Huel Black Edition is a tasty high protein complete meal that is also affordable. It starts at just $2.65 a meal and takes less than a minute to prepare. All it takes is some water, a scoop of the Black Edition powder, and then just shake it up, and now you have a balanced blend of carbs, fats, and 40 grams of plant-based protein. Plus you get 6 grams of fiber and 27 essential vitamins and minerals, all for just 400 calories. It comes in a multitude of flavors as well, but my personal favorite has been chocolate.
Huel also has Black Edition ready to drink bottles available, which is even better for someone like me who hates prepping drinks. It's the same flavor and benefits as the Black Edition powder, but in an even more convenient form. You get consistency, fewer decisions, less stress, and more importantly, save time and money.
Click the link in the description down below and use our code BROS for 20% off your order of $75 or more. This is valid for new customers only, and the bundle is only available through January, and it's expected to sell out fast.
Big thanks again to Huel for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get right back into it, shall we?
All right, we're at Wally World. Zach's being very discreet holding the DJI. Do you feel like no one's gonna know?
I'm gonna be walking through here like this.
That's okay with me. How ballsy you are, I guess.
We're at Walmart.
Do you feel like a vlogger? All right, so we're almost to the tech section. I'm hoping they actually have this laptop in stock. I will say I did pre-order it because I didn't want to risk coming here the day after Christmas. You know, everyone's got their gift cards, and I figured maybe it'll sell out, but I do want to actually look at it in person so we can just see what other options there were, and make sure we got the best one, you know, for the price. I can't explain. Such a fire song, so good. All right, I actually have a lot of laptops right now. Ryzen 7000 for $679. Whew. Here's one of the AI CPUs for $629. Ultra 7, what is this little guy? Oh, wow, it's a ZenBook with an OLED. It's all really expensive. Oh, I bet the cheaper ones are over there. Oh, these are really expensive. Okay, here we go. So they actually have one for $199, but my problem with this Acer, it's a Chromebook, and I said no Chromebooks because I want to actually game on it. And then we have this one for $229, but it's a Pentium, and I'm like, come on, I'm not stooping that low. When for a little bit more, I got the laptop that I got. I don't know what this thing is, the Chromebook. Where is the one that I bought? No, that's Intel. HP, that's Chromebook basically. There is one more, oh wait, there's these over here too, Zach. There's $279, but the price could be different in store, you know? Lenovo Duet. Yeah, I don't know, maybe they don't even have it in person. It showed that it was in stock like last night, so maybe they don't have a display model, or maybe we just missed it, but yeah. Oh yeah, did you see they have like on gaming peripherals now? Just like a Razer or like a G305 kind of esque. I like how they actually put the polling rate on the front. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's kind of good. Yes, dude, the new Neo is actually really sick. It's got like the little always on display. I kind of want one, but we'll see. 13420H with a 3050 for $599. $1650 for $900 with a 10th gen? How do they still have this? Wait, hold up too. DDR5 RAM. There's literally no way with 10th gen. They didn't even start using DDR5 in laptops until like 13th gen and like Ultra. This is like some weird average. Also, what is this? 256 GB plus 1 GB? All right, who wrote these out? Someone needs to be called out. All right, so laptop is curbside pickup, and I'm glad I did that because I don't know, it seems like they might not have it like readily in stock. I bet if I showed them the listing, they probably do. But anyways, I'm looking for a TV mount now. This is totally separate from the YouTube video. Where would you be a TV mount if you were a TV mount? Oh, is it on sale too? It says easy install. All right, TV mount acquired. Someone's calling me.
Now it's pickup time?
Pickup time. All right, so we're gonna hop in the truck. I don't think I've done curbside pickup, or at least not in a long time, so we're gonna pull around. I'm sad that we couldn't find the laptop in there, but we did find some other hidden gems, like that one laptop where everything was just wrong. So we're gonna pull up. I think I just give them my number, like my order number, and then they'll bring the laptop out. So pretty cool. Hey, how's it going? Like a number or anything? Jackson. All right, thanks you. Thanks you. Thanks you. I'm gonna kill myself. All right. Well, anyways, that just ruined my day. Not bad. Let's go ahead and get it back to the studio and unbox it. Unbox it. All right, guys, we are back at the office. We got the Lenovo ready to be unboxed, and I'm pretty excited. I don't know, I just feel like this is a really good price to performance right now. And I know that none of the specs are exactly like new or groundbreaking, but for $279, especially with that 512 gig SSD that could be Gen 4 and 8 gigs of DDR5, that's pretty wild to see in the market right now. And I don't think, yeah, there goes all of that. All right, well, let's talk about the power adapter, which is all covered up conveniently. Let's take off the peel here. By removing this protection paper completely before using, overheating may occur if I don't remove it. They could just not include it. Right there in the front, 65 watts. So pretty low wattage. It does obviously have the power brick. It uses one of like the Mickey Mouse AC connectors. You know, the only thing that sucks, Lenovo normally has been using Type-C or their rectangle jack. This being a cheaper laptop does just use one of their barrel jacks. So kind of proprietary, but not the end of the world. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to be okay with on this laptop because it was so cheap. We ended up getting the Arctic gray color, which I'm kind of excited about. I'm kind of glad it's not like, I don't really like that Lenovo blue. Front of it's pretty sleek, so it's kind of just a silver, basically. I would just call it a silver. I guess the Arctic sounds cooler and more fancy. Let's go ahead and open it up. Very nice, large size keyboard, touchpad slightly off to the left. Make it a little more ergonomic. I guess actually, I'm thinking about this, kind of weird. Normally I'm used to the touchpad either being like in the middle. I don't know, do they normally do touchpads off to the left like this? Now I'm like questioning, I don't know, a little bit weird, but it's not too bad, whatever. So for port selection, on the right side of the laptop, we have a USB 3 that is also a fast charging port, full-size SD card reader. Interesting choice. And then we have a couple of indicator lights for like power and stuff like that. Oh, this is cool too. I think this right here is actually a fingerprint reader because it says please remove and it shows a picture of a fingerprint. I don't know what else that'd mean. The back of the laptop has no ports. And then the left side of the laptop is where most of our ports reside. We got our DC power in. We have another USB 3.0. We have an HDMI out for when you want to add a secondary monitor. We have a USB Type-C, and then we have a combo headphone jack. So decent port selection, nothing too crazy for a cheap laptop. Let's see if it actually has any power to it. I'm gonna guess the battery's probably pretty dead. I think she's pretty dead. Let's try to plug it in. Who knows how long it's been sitting in this box. And you know, with the 7520U, not a bad CPU at all. For like regular work tasks and stuff like that, this is gonna be an amazing laptop. Now for gaming, which I think a lot of people will be interested in, because I think this is the kind of laptop that I could see a lot of people getting from like their job for really cheap, or maybe for their school, like for college or high school, because I know almost everyone has laptops and tablets now for those things. It'd be nice to know if you could play a little bit of Minecraft or Fortnite or I don't know, maybe even Arc Raiders or something like that on the side. So let's go ahead and boot this up. All right, we're in this laptop. We just went through and set it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the specs, and then we're gonna take a look at some of that bloatware. And you know, while I'm here, I'm even gonna show you guys kind of what to look for and how to get rid of it. So we have our Ryzen 5 7520U, and I totally said it was a 6-core 12-thread. It is in fact a 4-core 8-thread. I could not remember. Now RAM, okay, this is interesting. So we have 8 gigs total, and it says 2 of 2 installed. So supposedly there's 2 4-gig sticks that I'm thinking are probably soldered in at 5,500 mega transfers per second. We will open this laptop up and check. Maybe one soldered in, one isn't. Maybe they're both soldered. We don't really know yet. We have 2.2 gigabytes that are hardware reserved. So for other things like, you know, the iGPU/CPU. We have a Micron, let's see, a 512QGN. Let's see if we're working with a Gen 4 or Gen 3. I'm gonna assume it's Gen 3, but you never know. Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and it's like a little hard to tell, but I'm pretty confident this is a Gen 4 512 gig SSD, which, hey, cool. And then of course we have our Radeon 610M graphics, and those are actually integrated graphics, so it's built into our APU, the 7520U. And as you can see, it has, let's see, 2 gigs of dedicated GPU, which that's not right. It definitely is probably like 512. But the way that they do that's interesting, because they show that it has 2.9 shared, but then 2 dedicated, which should be less, but somehow they've done some stuff in the BIOS to do that. So look, almost 4 gigs of GPU, or 5 gigs almost of GPU memory. I don't know, this could be really good, or that could be really bad, because we only have 8 to work with, and we're already using, look at that, 3.7 of 5.8 just sitting in Windows. Oh, and also, side note, it is in fact touchscreen, which is just such a cool added bonus for this low price. So, okay, what we're gonna do is, you can already see McAfee, right? So let's just go ahead, and here's where I like to do everything. I just go to add or remove programs. Not super intrusive, pretty simple, non-invasive. And we're gonna go in here, and I'm gonna remove just anything that I don't like to see. Like, I don't want any of the AI stuff and like get rid of it. We'll leave Dolby because that's gonna be for like sound. I'm gonna get rid of pretty much like anything involving just like Microsoft stuff that's not like essential. Honestly, I don't really have any interest in keeping any of the like Lenovo products really. So we're just gonna get rid of any of that stuff because that's the type of things that'll like run in the background and they're like, oh, it's optimization, but I always question like what it's actually doing. And also the fact that we don't have much to work with here. We're gonna just uninstall anything that seems unimportant and then we're gonna check back in and see if we're using any less resources. Okay, I'm checking back in. We have a new Fire background instead of that kind of ugly Lenovo logo in the corner. And we're still doing like some Windows updates and stuff. So of course right now, the RAM usage is still gonna be a little high. Yeah, I mean, we're at 71%. And honestly, most of it is Windows Defender like built in. That's just Windows Defender. There is really cool ways that you can Google on how to actually make it to where this does not use that amount of RAM. I did that in my Latte Panda video, the last one I did. So we might end up doing that if I feel like we're getting really poor performance in games. And then we're gonna go ahead and dismiss that. But yeah, I went through add and remove program, and as you can see, we have like nothing left here. I got rid of like OneDrive, McAfee, all that stuff that's gonna cause heavy CPU, GPU, like it'll cause heavy usage on everything. So we just got rid of all that junk. And now the last thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and try to get all Windows things up to date. So you basically just keep checking for updates, you know, restart when it tells you. You might have to do that 2 or 3 times sometimes, especially if it's like an older Windows install. And once you're done with that, we'll have the latest Windows account, we'll have all the drivers we could possibly need to give this laptop the best fighting chance at gaming and doing everything quickly. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you know a little spoiler. This laptop, it turns out you cannot add RAM to, but in the benchmarks, I'm gonna talk about adding RAM a lot because I'm under the impression that you can add RAM, but we'll talk about that in the teardown here in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in our first game, and our first game is Fortnite. And right now we are just running 720p, max frame rate limit of 120 FPS, performance rendering mode, and we're on near view distance with everything just basically low. This PC has such little RAM, only 8 gigs, that I don't even have Afterburner installed because my theory is that we're literally sitting at 60 to 80% RAM usage just sitting in Windows doing nothing. Partially because our Vega graphics do need some RAM in order to basically have VRAM. And for some reason they allocated a lot to this. So we only have like, what is it, 5 point something usable? And Windows alone eats a ton. So yeah, we deleted whatever we could. I even actually have anti-malware basically just disabled right now. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm assuming we can replace a 4 gig with an 8 gig, which will give us 12 gigs dual channel. I think that'll be just enough, just the bare minimum in order to be able to actually get some good FPS. Because right now, it's playable. It's just, it's laggy. It's not the most ideal, but like, it's cool that it's playing it with only 8 gigs in 2026. But I think we can do better. But for a laptop that's 280 bucks, I would spend it. And I think you'll see why in a minute here. I think it'll be worth it. Let me see if I can grab us a kill real quick. And then we're basically going to keep going through the games that we currently have. And you're going to hear me saying the same complaint. Like, I wish we had more RAM. And then I'm going to upgrade the RAM hopefully and retest all the games for you guys so you can actually see what that $50 to $80 difference will make. What is happening? I can't fight this guy behind me. I didn't know I was in builds. I don't want to build, okay? I just want to fight. I want a fair, clean fight. Let's go and go on to the next game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are playing Team Fortress 2, a true cult classic. This is running on the old Source engine, ow. And really easy to run. And we're actually running like the max settings right now, 1080p, highest settings possible. And it's okay, it's not great. We're getting like 30 to 40 FPS. You can see we got the Steam's very nice metrics up top here. So I'm gonna lower some settings if it'll let me. You can see we're using pretty much all the RAM that we have left. So I do think this RAM upgrade is gonna be very beneficial, but TF2 seems to not really use a lot of RAM. So I think that's why we're running max settings and we're not really having any issues. So let's just, you know, let's humor ourselves here. Let's go like kind of lower details. We're probably gonna get a lot of lockups here. All right, so it looks like the settings definitely did change. I think we're probably on setup mode right now. So actually, no, we're in, all right. Yeah, so we're running kind of like a lower medium setting at this point. And it crashed. Wonderful timing. That's probably the RAM if I had to guess, or just the fact that I just changed the settings and it's mad at me. But anyways, playable, But I think this RAM's gonna be amazing. Let's go ahead and go to the next game before we do that. All right, we made the mistake of loading up some Counter-Strike. Boo-hoo, but I say the mistake because I just don't think I'm gonna be able to kill anyone. I'm actually surprised, like it's kind of running right now. It's always really fun to find the settings. So before the RAM upgrade, we're basically on like the lowest settings. It says custom because I put Fidelity Super Res at performance, but we're actually even running 720p. No, we're not. We're not running 720p. We're running, we'll just keep it at 1080, whatever. I think the RAM upgrade, I think, will get us to be able to play 1080 at these settings. Look at how much RAM we're borrowing. If that's correct, it's showing we're using like 4 of the 2 gigs that the AMD CPU doesn't really have. 4.1 now, that's crazy. I mean, but you know, surprisingly, it's kind of leveling out at 1080p. I thought it was on 720p, it must have not changed. So I'm surprised like it's working. I mean, so far, every game we've thrown at it, we can make play. They might not be like the best experience. Was that actually a bot? That dude just crapped on me. But they're like playable, which is kind of cool. But I really do think this RAM upgrade, I think, is going to get us like where we really want to be for a $280 laptop. So we have one more game to test and then 3D Mark, and then we're going to do that upgrade, that teardown real quick, and that'll be fun. You guys can follow along with me do the teardown, upgrade the RAM, and then we're going to test all this again real quick. All right, so I pressed the F3 key, and as you can see, it takes up like half of my screen, but that's okay. You know, you guys don't really need to see a ton of the gameplay, I guess. So what we're currently running in Minecraft, man, it's been just so long and I forget how much they've done in this game. So we're actually running like a fast, I forget I can just turn this off moment here. Let's do that. So we're running the full screen res of 1080p, but then we have a fast preset on. So 1080p, but the fast preset, which is funny, Minecraft has presets now. I grew up in a time where they didn't have those. I'm pressing random buttons. But as you can see, I'll turn the FPS back on in just a second. This is very playable. You know, we get a little bit of like chunk loading and stuff whenever we spawn. Like, let's just run straight here and let's see what we get. The view distance is fairly near, so it's not going to be anything crazy. I don't think like hard lockups, so probably some little chunks here and there. We're running and we're not getting anything. Let me go ahead and turn these metrics on for you guys. So currently we are getting 100 and right up there in the top, 140 FPS. Honestly, if you're playing Minecraft and like Roblox and stuff, forget even upgrading the RAM, whatever, I guess, right? But see right there, we're getting a little bit of chunk loading. I do think once we upgrade the RAM, I think everything's just gonna be so much better. Windows alone basically just needs, I'd say an average of like 4 to 6 gigs. And if we only have 8 to even work with, that's just not enough for these integrated graphics. So just adding the extra 4, I think, is gonna really brighten this thing up. So let's go ahead and run the 3D Mark Time Spy. And then once we do that, we're gonna tear it apart. First 3D Mark score down, not great, 625, but apparently is better than average, so we'll take it. Let's go ahead and tear this laptop down and do some upgrades. Ladies and gentlemen, it is upgrade time. So we're gonna be using a T5 screwdriver, Torx bit. And it is tiny. I obviously am not a big fan of I'm not gonna call it proprietary because like Torx bits are pretty common, especially in the tech world, but I just wish it was like a PH1. But I will say the nice part about Torx bits is if you have the right one, they definitely bite better and you don't have to worry about stripping them as easily as you can like a Phillips or Flathead. So they're coming out really easily though. All right, we got one of these little guys here. Your other option is just using like a credit card or something like that, but I will say you can buy these, I call them like spudging tools for very cheap. And this really isn't my preferred one. I really like the guitar pick style ones. I mean, heck, I guess if you had a guitar pick lying around, you could use that too. So we're basically working our way around the edges. You just wanna make sure that the tool you use is plastic. You have less chances of marring. Plastic on plastic action, you know? Man, that was actually a really tough one. They definitely made that a lot harder than I think it needed to be. So the back plate is just plastic. We have a little bit of copper here, which would, let's see, where would that go? Okay, the copper is just like a heat shield for the CPU heatsink area. As you can see, we actually have a mini M.2 NVMe SSD. This is not the smallest sizing, it's kind of in between. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. This is cool, removable M.2 Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card. The actual PCB is only this. It's a very small PCB, pretty large battery. It is a 11.31 volt, 47 watt hour. We obviously have some separate USB controller board here, which can be kind of nice in case you damage it, it is replaceable, probably really expensive. I just realized we might not have replaceable RAM, which is really sad, very sad. Okay, wow, this whole time I'm doing this video, I'm thinking we're gonna be able to replace the RAM because I watched someone else's teardown and it must have been a slightly different model because I was under the impression we were gonna have some RAM chips we could replace. So yeah, I double checked some videos and I'm pretty disappointed. There's actually one with this exact model is the Lenovo Slim 3 15A MN8. And it does not have any upgradable RAM. That's pretty sad. So I'm sure that you might be able to get this laptop with different amounts of soldered RAM, but I believe our RAM modules are under here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it definitely makes this thing a lot less appealing for, you know, if you're gonna be doing gaming on the side, because basically what you just saw is about the best you're gonna get unless you install like maybe Linux or a modified Windows that's kind of dumbed down. So I guess at this point we can basically just talk about kind of where we're at, you know, with the current price point, the 3D Mark Time Spy, and if I recommend this laptop or not. So we just got done benchmarking and tearing down this laptop, and I hope you hear a little bit of disappointment in my voice because this laptop, although I think at 280 bucks, is a great price to performance, like as is, because we got a touchscreen, we got a webcam, we have everything we need. I mean, keyboard, touchpad, everything. And it does some light, you know, 720p, a little bit of 1080p gaming, but if we could just upgrade that RAM to even 12 or 16 gigs dual channel, I think this thing would have been a lot better. It has the bones and everything it needs, and it sucks that there's other videos of the 3i ThinkPad or IdeaPad of being able to upgrade the RAM. They're like all over YouTube, but apparently this exact model that I got, which is like one of the newer ones, they took away that ability. So I hate to see it. I hate to tell you guys that, and I hate how the whole time I thought I could upgrade the RAM, so sorry if I misled anyone, but hopefully now you know you can't upgrade the RAM, because now I know. Now our 3D Mark score probably wouldn't have been much better with the RAM upgrade, but we ended up getting 625, which is above average apparently for these specs, but that is a 45 cent per point score, which for a laptop with no GPU, or really anything without a GPU, we always get pretty high cents per points. But yeah, I mean, let me know down below what you guys think. Do you feel like for 280 bucks this is still a good deal for someone, you know, just looking for like a normal laptop, not really looking to game? Or do you think the whole non-upgradable RAM is just like a deal breaker for you and you would never buy something like this? But anyways, after all that aside, we hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Now this laptop right here will actually be for sale at PCBros.tech. We actually sell pretty much everything you see in the Toasty Bros videos plus more. So make sure you guys use code ToastyBros at checkout to save 3%. See you guys later. Bye-bye.